guys, I'm Tasha from travelandtash.com, and today I'm talking about why I wrote Keto Brunches, the recipe book that I'm about to publish in just under 2 weeks. Here's a little bit about my story. As a child, I grew up in surrounded by people in my family and my parents' friends that were really nutrition conscious. I remember that my parents had friends called Chris and Ruth, and they would visit our home and they would talk for hours and hours about nutrition and about this supplement and that supplement and what you should be taking. And then my parents ended up getting into a health brand called Herbalife, and they started selling that to friends, and so as a result, me and my siblings were bombarded with constant information basically about health. and as an adult, I think that I just felt a little bit rebellious about all of it, and I essentially, as an adult, I just I've hardly taken any supplements for my entire adult life. And I'm one of those people that just refuses to go to the doctor. I'll only go if I absolutely really have to. In fact, it's ironic because I'm more likely to visit, a traditional, Asian doctor or Korean doctor rather than to go to a, let's say a normal Western style doctor. And perhaps that that alternative kind of medicine appeals to me a bit more, like treating the root cause of a problem rather than trying to treat the symptoms. But essentially about a year ago, as many of you know, I live in South Korea. I'm an English teacher at the moment. And about a year ago, I had a health scare, and essentially I began to feel really, 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 really tired, and I found it hard to actually get through my workday. And so I went to the doctor and I was like, what's going on with me? I don't understand. And so she ran a bunch of tests, like including some blood tests. And she said, then the test came back and she said to me, okay, you've got dangerously low iron. You really need to start modifying your diet. You need to start taking in more protein. You need to start eating more tofu or bits of, at least small doses of meat daily or with every meal. And so, I for the first time, I became a bit more aware of nutrition, and I started to think, oh my goodness, I'm 38 years old. I guess I'm not, made of iron. Like, I've always thought, I'm not invincible, and I think that's what a lot of us think that we are, probably until you hit a certain age or until you begin to neglect your diet in some way and you didn't really realize that you were beginning to eat less of a particular food group, and then it hits you. So after I was diagnosed with that health scare, I decided that I wanted to learn a bit more about nutrition, particularly energy. And so oftentimes when I want to learn more about something, I see that as an opportunity to write a book. And as a new author, I've only written one book thus far in my career, and that is I wrote a book about relationships. It's called 18 Principles to Attract and Retain a Fulfilling Relationship. And I thought, oh goodness, writing about nutrition and writing a recipe book is, so far from, so different from what I did before. But nevertheless, I thought, okay, so let me learn a bit about nutrition, so which, is there a kind of diet or lifestyle that's going to be useful for me to learn about? And that's when I stumbled across keto diets. And I saw some work by Mark Sisson and also Tom Bilyeu's YouTube channel, his health theory programs, where he interviews doctors, and essentially it's an opportunity to just learn more about how the human body and mind are connected and how our body works. And so I began to learn more basically about health, and I came across this interesting idea of keto, whereby consuming natural fats can actually help you lose weight. But for me, in my case, more importantly than that is actually gaining energy. And I'd noticed that, you know, as a let's say, as a British woman who was raised with a Spanish family, carbohydrates has always been a large part of our diet, particularly pasta. My mother always cooked a lot of pasta, and you know, I love Italian food. Like, you know, staples are pasta, and you know, of course, that's not really allowed as part of the keto diet. Keto diet focuses on natural fats like bacon and avocado, you know, cold pressed oil, and nuts that haven't been processed and things like that. So anyway, you know, after learning a little bit more from Tom Bileau's YouTube channel, and just beginning to research, I began to, you know, I just decided, hey, I'm gonna do a keto recipe book, and I'm going to educate myself how to create more energy, and I began to add some of these you know, high fat foods to my meals, particularly at lunchtime, and I began to realize that by doing so, I was able to actually get through, you know, my 3-hour teaching class, you know, at my school, at my academy, and actually get to the end of the lesson and still actually have energy. And for me, that was incredible, because usually, you know, teaching children, especially if you've got 8 of them and they're really energetic, you know, I would be depleted. Like, I would be, you know, sometimes on the point of collapse, you know, hangry. I was hangry by the end of it. I was like, you know, because just running on so little, because carbs just weren't really doing it for me. You know, it wasn't enough to see me through, you know, 3+ hours of, you know, one class with, you know, one group of kids. And then, you know, usually I'd have to do that for a second period again, you know, in the evening. And anyway, so this is basically why I wrote this book. Is it's essentially, it's a lesson for me to understand more about nutrition, and hopefully what will be a guide for a lot of people that are brand new to keto and are interested in, you know, creating more energy in their life, perhaps losing weight. And interestingly enough, keto has been connected to increased memory function and you know, essentially brain function, and helping your synapses to connect better. And anyway, you know, I'll leave all those explanations to the professionals, but there are so many benefits to this diet, and so I thought, oh, you know, this is you know, the particular food that I'm going to focus on for my second book. Anyway, I'm going to link down below a link to my Facebook page, my Keto Brunches Facebook page. Feel free to come and join. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hit the subscribe button if you like this content. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.